Hi children, this is Sudhir Kumar from Sudhir Physics classes. Today's topic is the force acting on a current carrying conductor that is placed in a magnetic field. So this is a conductor. Some shape I have taken. It need not be always a straight conductor. A conductor can be straight or semicircular or circular conductor. It can be any shape. So this conductor is having current and it is placed in a magnetic field. So this conductor will be experiencing force. In other words, the magnetic field will exert force on the conductor. The magnetic field will exert force on the conductor. So that force I have to calculate. First of all, why does this conductor will experience a force? The previous topic, we have studied that whenever a charged particle is moving in a magnetic field, so the charged particle will experience the force. That is, the magnetic field will exert a force on the charged particle, and that will be given by B, Q, V sine theta. B is a magnetic field, Q is a charge, V is the velocity of the particle. Okay, theta is the angle between the velocity and the magnetic field that we have studied in the previous lectures also. So whenever a current is flowing in this wire, so electrons are flowing opposite to the direction of the current what you are showing. So in this conductor, now electrons are flowing. So when electrons are flowing in this conductor, see, they are nothing but a charged particles moving in a magnetic field. Therefore, those electrons which are moving in magnetic field in the form of current in the conductor, so they experience a force. So that electrons will experience a force. The electrons cannot come out of this conductor. So therefore, because electrons are experiencing force, the conductor also experiences the force. So the conductor is experiencing force due to the flow of electrons in the conductor. That is, in this direction, electrons will be flowing. They are charged particles moving in a magnetic field. That is why the conductor also experiences the force. But generally, we will show opposite direction for the flow of electrons, conventional current. Even current electricity also you studied everywhere. We will be showing the conventional current only. So you have to assume that a positive charge is flowing opposite to the flow of electrons. So we will consider now also positive charge is only flowing opposite to the electrons. What is a 1 unit charge? 1.602 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulombs. That is a charge of electron, negative charge. Positive charge means 1.602 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulombs. Positive charge is a unit positive charge. Like that we can consider. Let us come to this part now. What we will do is we will be considering a small segment of this conductor. So let me consider a small segment of the conductor, DL. A small segment of the conductor DL in which the current is flowing and it is placed in a magnetic field. So in that small segment of the conductor, for this wire you have a uniform cross section A, and the number density of the charge carriers per unit volume. See, you said that electrons are flowing opposite to this current. So a positive charge is assumed to be flowing in this direction. And a positively charged particles are flowing assumed. Just assume positively charged particles are flowing. So then, how the number of charge carriers, that means which are the charge which is moving, not the charge at the stable or at rest in the conductor. So example, electrons are charge carriers. Opposite to that, you will take a conventional positive charge as a charge carriers. So therefore, the number of electrons per unit volume or number of positive charge carriers per unit volume is N. So then, let E is the charge of each charge carrier. If it is plus for positive charge, if it is minus for negative charge. We will consider positive charge direction only. E. 1.602 into 10 to the power of minus 19. Force acting on each charge carrier. So when a charge is moving in a magnetic field, that will experience a force B, Q, V, sine theta. If you expand cross product, you will get sine theta. So this is a force acting on each charge carrier. So if this is a force acting on each charge carrier, okay, Then number of charge carriers in this segment DL. See, what is the volume of the segment? Imagine this is a small segment I considered. What is its volume? Area of cross section into length. So that is area of cross section into length. In this volume, into number of charge carriers per unit volume will be the total number of charge carriers in this segment DL. So per unit volume, number of charge carriers are N. Then in a volume of a segment DL, so how many charge carriers will be there? N into A into DL. This is the total number of charge carriers. So now each charge carrier is experiencing this much force. Each charge carrier is experiencing this much force in this wire. Therefore, the segment DL also experiences force due to this so many charge carriers. So in this small segment, this many charge carriers, this many charge particles are there. Each charge particle is experiencing this much force. Then the segment DL has so many charged particles. So the segment DL will experience a force of multiplication of these two. So let DF is the force on DL. So then force on DL is equal to. So force on each charge carrier into number of charge carriers in that segment. In this segment, this many charge carriers are there. For each charge carrier, this much is a force acting. Therefore, the total force acting on this segment will be this. So, this is very important. Next, this is dF is equal to. You know the drift velocity formula, the relation between the current and drift velocity. The average velocity of the charge carriers inside the conductor is called drift velocity. Area of charge of the each charge carrier, number of electrons per unit volume or number of charge carriers per unit volume. So now I can substitute this N, E, A and Vd as a current. So therefore this will be I into. So what is left out now? DL bar cross B bar. This is the force. This is very important. Now observe one point here. See, I have eliminated a drift velocity vector and I substituted DL bar. But I substituted this current definition, NEAVD as current I here. So therefore, I will take this DL bar as the direction of current. In the direction of current only I will take. Because this current is substituted here. So DL bar is taken in the direction of current. Further you will understand that is, so is this DL bar is like this or like this? Means in the direction of current only we will take because the drift velocity direction. So this is a force on this small segment having current placed in magnetic field. But I want force due to the total conductor that is placed in a magnetic field. So the total force will be integral of dF. So the total force on the conductor, just a minute. So the total force on the conductor F bar is integral dF. So that is integration of this. That is integral I into DL bar cross B bar. So therefore force F. Anyhow, I am taking out integral of DL bar cross B bar. Let me tell you, B bar is a uniform magnetic field. It is not variable. So integral DL is L. So I can write it this as now L bar cross B bar. So therefore, the finally force acting on the total conductor is equal to this. So I must write now F bar is equal to I into L bar cross B bar is the force acting on the current carrying conductor. So what is this L bar now? That is very important. See, the length of the conductor means this total length you will take, but L bar means what? It is like displacement vector. L bar is like a displacement vector. So where is the current entering the field? Where is the current leaving the field? And shortest path between those two is L bar. So don't take now this as a length now. L bar means now I'll tell you what you have to take. This is the point at which the current is entering the field. This is the point at which the current is leaving the field. So the shortest path, like displacement vector, okay, like this. Yes, this one. So this one is taken as L bar, like displacement vector. So now this conductor is experiencing the force. Okay, please take down. Okay, now here I am taking current carrying conductors in magnetic field. This is one conductor carrying current. This is another conductor carrying current. This is another current carrying current, and they are kept in a magnetic field. Here the magnetic field is from left to right. Here the magnetic field is into the board. That is the difference between these two cases. So now what is the force acting on this conductor? I want. So the force F bar is equal to I into L bar cross B bar. Fine, this is already a straight conductor. So L bar means I can take this length directly. So therefore F bar is equal to I into, what is A bar cross B bar definition? AB sin theta. So therefore this will be B into L into sin theta. Therefore the force acting on this is BIL sin theta. That is the force acting on this conductor. L means I can take this length. No problem. In this case, what is the force acting on this conductor? F bar is equal to I into L bar cross B bar. Same formula which I derived, only I am using here. So the force acting here, F bar, is equal to I is the current. So here L bar means it is only straight conductor only, nothing to worry. When you have a straight conductor, I can take directly its length only. So I have told you now the direction here, theta, what did you take here, theta? The angle between L bar and the B bar. But what is L bar here? In the direction of current only you have to take. Just now I told you. So this and this. This is L bar and this is B bar. Angle between them is theta. Whereas here, what is the angle between L bar and B bar here? 90 degrees. So the current carrying conductor is perpendicular to the magnetic field. And direction of L bar must be taken in the direction of current only, I told you. So this is L bar. This is B bar. So theta is 90. So this is I into, I'll expand this, A bar plus B bar is AB sin theta. Therefore this is L into B into sin 90. Therefore the force will be just BIL. Here one important point I have to tell you, Amma, I can apply Fleming's left hand rule here. You know the direction of current is nothing but the direction of conventional positive charge, isn't it? So do you remember we have applied the Fleming's left hand rule for the charged particle which is moving in magnetic field. So if positive charge is flowing like this, then inside the wire, then force acting on that positive charge is nothing but a force acting on a conductor. So I can apply Fleming's left hand rule. So you know how to apply. These two, this is magnetic field. This is the direction of the velocity of a positive charge. That means I can take the direction of current. This conventional current is the flow of positive charge only. Then I'll get the direction of force. So match this with the magnetic field. Match this with the current. Then you will get the force. The force is inward. So I can apply Fleming's left hand rule. So the force is acting into the board for this current carrying conductor. So once again, this is a magnetic field, this is the direction of current, and this is the direction of force. You can calculate the direction of force. If I match the magnetic field direction and the current direction, then you stretch your thumb, that will indicate the direction of force on the current carrying conductor. So Fleming's left hand rule can be applicable when theta is 90 degrees like this. Now coming to this now. Now force on this wire. This is very, very important. Now this is a magnetic field in this, that is into the board, and this is a wire bent in the form of semicircle. What is the force acting on this conductor? That is semicircular conductor. What is the force acting? So F is equal to I into L bar cross B bar. L bar cross B bar. Very good. This is F is equal to I into. Okay. L bar. I told you where is the current starts. Where is the current ends. The shortest path, this distance, is taken as L bar. There is no conductor, but you should imagine one conductor like that there, L bar. This will become L bar. So now I'll expand this I into, this is A in the form of A bar plus B bar, no? This is L into B into sine theta. So then what happens now next? F I, this is magnitude of L bar, amma. Magnitude of L bar means don't take this length, take this length. But how much is that length? R plus R, 2R. That you have to take. L bar means 2R. You know displacement means the shortest path, R plus R, 2R. Distance means you will take pi R. So I told L bar is a displacement vector. So into B, into sine 90. Now where is this imaginary conductor, amma? See, this is an imaginary conductor. So current is flowing like this. So you can take an imaginary current like this. There is no conductor, but even then you can take like this. So apply Fleming's left hand rule now, because this conductor is perpendicular to the magnetic field. Magnetic field is inward. Magnetic field is inward. And L bar is like this. How are these two? Perpendicular. So I can apply direction of force means I can apply Fleming's left hand rule. Now where is the magnetic field? Don't use this now. Use these two only first. Magnetic field is inward. Where is an imaginary conductor and imaginary length? This side. So where is the force now? Upward direction. So this will experience a force in upward direction. How much force? This much force. It will experience. These are very important. Please take down. Okay, let us consider these cases now. These all are current carrying conductors placed in magnetic field. Okay, let us come to this first. This is a single wire, but it is bent like this, right? So I want a force acting. This is a magnetic field is inward, and this is a conductor. Okay, the current is flowing like this, right? The total length of the conductor is L, and then this length will be L by 2, this length will be L by 2. I want force acting on this current carrying conductor. So if this is taken as a single conductor, where is the starting point for the current? This is the starting point for the current. Where is the ending point for the current? This is the ending point for the current. So in L bar, like displacement vector, I have to take this one. So you can imagine one conductor like this now. This is an imaginary conductor in which we can take an imaginary current flowing like this. Imaginary current flowing like this. So you should calculate force on this. That will be the force on this. This is taken as L bar actually. So what is the force now? BIL sine 90. No doubt, whenever you have a magnetic field is inward and you place a conductors like this, theta is 90. Why? Because this magnetic field is inward and this is a current. What is the angle between? This is inward and this is an imaginary current. What is the angle? So this is inward, this is like this. So always 90. So BIL sine 90. So B means strength of the magnetic field. I means the current that is flowing in this wire. Same current is assumed here. L means displacement vector, this one. How much is that? That's what I wanted to find. So drop one line here. This will be theta by 2. Okay, this angle. And this angle is another theta by 2. So take this right angle triangle here. So if you want this length, actually the sine theta by 2 is opposite side by hypotenuse. So how much will be this length now? Okay, this will be, just a minute, Amma. This is L by 2 sine theta by 2. Because sine theta by 2 is equal to opposite side by hypotenuse. So how much will be this opposite side now? L by 2 sine theta by 2. How much is this length? L by 2 sine theta by 2. What is the total length I have to take now? L by 2 sine theta by 2 plus L by 2 sine theta by 2. That is 2 times L by 2 sine theta by 2. That is L into sine theta by 2. So this is the force acting on this wire. In which direction the force will act? Magnetic field is inward. An imaginary current is flowing like this, upwards. So force will be acting towards left. There is no conductor here. So the force will act like this on this loop. So that is how we calculate the force. L means this length. L by 2 sin theta. L by 2 sin theta is L sin theta by 2. That is theta by 2. Now come here. Now in this case, so there is a wire here and as well as here. First let me calculate on this wire. This I will take it as a part 1. This I will take it as a part 2. Because both wires are there. So now no doubt the force acting on this Fleming's left hand rule I will use. The magnetic field is inward. Current is towards right. Now you stretch your thumb. So on this conductor, force will be acting in upward direction. How much is that force? Let it be F1, okay? F1 is equal to B into I into L. This is L, amma. So 2R that is. Into sine 90. I already told whenever a loop is there in a magnetic field is inward, theta has to be taken as 90 only. Now coming to this one. Let the force on this loop is F2. Yeah, I don't know the direction, no? So let the force is F2. So again the force on this is BIL sin theta only. I will calculate here. B, I, same current is flowing. Let us say here is also current I, here is also current I, let us say. L means don't take this length, take this length only. That's what I told you, displacement vector. So 2R into sine 90. In which direction the force is? So this is a current flowing like this. So an imaginary current is this way. Magnetic field is inward. The force is upward. So therefore, here the force will be acting upwards. What is the total force? F1 plus F2, because both are acting in same direction. The total force is BI into 2R, BI into 2R, 4 times BIR is acting on the loop. And that total force can be equated to MA also. Okay? Right. Coming here now, what is the difference between these two? The currents, actually here what happens is, current is dividing like this. And I can imagine the current enters like this and current leaves like this. So here current 2I is flowing, that is divided into I and I like this, and it is flowing. So current is not forming a closed loop, but here current is forming a closed loop. The force acting on this upper wire, see this part and this part is same. So therefore what is the force acting on this? The force will be equal to same BI into 2R. R is the radius. Now coming to this, see I will apply Fleming's left hand rule for this one. Already for this one I applied magnetic field is inward, current is towards right, force is upwards. But what about this? Magnetic field is inward, but current is reversed. So this is a magnetic field, this is a current, right? Force is acting downwards. So the same force BI into 2R will act downwards. So this total loop is taken as single body only. Then these two force cancels and the resultant force acting on them is 0. So whenever current forms a closed loop, the net force on that loop will be 0. Not only this, we can take a circular conductor also here, that is placed in a magnetic field. So current is forming a closed loop, so net force on that closed loop will be 0 here also. Okay, please take down. Yeah. So another situation, current carrying conductor that are placed in a magnetic field. See, this is an inclined plane. There is a magnetic field perpendicular to the inclined plane. Perpendicular to the inclined plane. This is a current carrying conductor placed in this magnetic field. This is a current carrying conductor placed in a magnetic field. So find the value of current such that this conductor starts moving up the inclined plane with uniform velocity. So a magnetic field, a current carrying conductor on the inclined plane, the field is perpendicular to the plane. Find the value of current. If L is the length of the conductor given, find the value of the current in such a manner this conductor starts sliding up the plane. Conductor starts sliding up the plane with uniform velocity. Maybe why does any conductor move, Amma? Unless somebody pushes. Who will push? BIL sin 90 will push. That might be the reason, no other way. Then who will push the conductor up the inclined plane? Either you have to apply the force with hand. I am not touching. Only current concept here. So this conductor is shown like this. This is an inclined plane. Okay. So this is an inclination theta. So this is a cross section of the conductor. The remaining part, I am showing only this part here. The current will be like this, inward. And magnetic field is perpendicular to the inclined plane. Okay, I will take the magnetic field perpendicular to the inclined plane, B bar. So this is simple to understand. You all know how the forces will be. Friction is there, Amma. Friction is given, mu. So you know that mg will be acting downwards. And you all know that mg cos, this is theta, this will be mg cos theta will be acting downwards. And mg sin theta will be acting along the inclined plane. So the mg is resolved into mg sin theta and mg cos theta. Okay, that means the force mg is acting in two directions. Some part mg sin theta along the plane, mg cos theta normal to the plane. Fine. What are other forces then? Definitely friction is there. See, the current in the conductor is trying to move this conductor in upward direction. Trying to move this conductor. Okay, see this cross section and this are same. Okay, trying to move in upward direction. When conductor is trying to move in upward direction, friction will develop downwards. So definitely the friction is acting downwards. So plus friction is acting downwards. Then definitely the force due to the magnetic field must be acting in this direction. I will explain why. Because he told conductor is moving up the inclined plane. Let the current in this conductor is flowing inward. This is a cross section you are seeing, okay? Inward. So this is a current. Then magnetic field. In or out, let me see the current, I don't know. The current will be coming out here. Because if current is coming outward, yeah, then force will act this way. Now you see all of you. This is a magnetic field. This is a current. So current in this conductor is outward. Like this. So this is the current direction. This is a magnetic field direction. Then where is the force? Tell me. Up. That is why I did not mention the direction of current. He is telling that it is moving up. Therefore, the BIL must act in such a manner that the conductor has to slide upwards. Therefore, BIL sin 90 will be acting this way. So current in a conductor is outward like this, and this is a magnetic field force. So now the conductor has to move up with uniform velocity, it seems, not with an acceleration. So the resultant force must be zero. That means this F must be equal to sum of these two forces. Okay? Therefore, this BIL must be equal to sum of these two forces, mg sine theta plus frictional force. What is frictional force formula? Mu into normally action. What is normally action in this case? See, here is normally action. Normally action is mg cos theta. So frictional force is mg cos theta. So mg sine theta plus friction must be equal to, these are the two forces acting down the inclined plane. This is the force acting up the inclined plane. So now the resultant force is taken as 0. That means this upward force must be equal to sum of these two downward forces here. And then it will be moving up with uniform velocity, or this FB must be slightly greater than this, slightly. Anything you can understand. From this you have to calculate the current. So I is equal to this. Take an mg common. Take mg common here. This is sine theta plus mu cos theta divided by, so B into L. So you substitute the data, then you will get the magnitude of the current. Now coming here, you want the elongation in the spring. Oh, actually there is a magnetic field here. There is a magnetic field. Outward or inward? Let me see. Let us take outward magnetic field. There is an outward magnetic field here. So magnetic field is coming out. So he want elongation in the spring. What are the forces that causes the elongation? These two are identical springs. Their spring constants are K. And due to the weight of this rod or some other forces, now it will move down. The springs will elongate. We want that elongation. What are the forces acting downwards? Let us see. mg, that is weight of the rod, is acting down. Now this rod is a current carrying conductor placed in outward magnetic field. So force is BIL sine 90, Fleming's left hand rule. Magnetic field is outward. Current is this way. First match the magnetic field. Outward. Okay. Outward. And this is a current. Outward is a magnetic field. Current is towards right. Now where is the force? Downwards. So BIL sine 90 also will be acting downwards. Now this forces will cause elongation in the spring. The restoring force developed in a spring will be Kx plus Kx. And that must be equal to mg plus BIL. So for 2 times Kx is equal to mg plus BIL, and therefore x is equal to mg plus BIL divided by 2k. Then we'll give the elongation in the spring. Take down, this is another situation. Okay, let us consider this last case. There is a magnetic field around this infinitely long current carrying conductor. So this is a current carrying conductor that will produce a magnetic field inward here. So in that magnetic field, a conductor of length B having current I2 is placed. So this is an infinitely long conductor having current I1. This is another current carrying conductor having a current I2 length B placed in a field of I1, placed in a field of infinitely long conductor. That is the situation. The problem is here is a non-uniform magnetic field. As you go away from the conductor, the magnetic field will be decreasing. So this is not a uniform magnetic field. So this conductor is placed in a non-uniform magnetic field. So we have to integrate. So what I do is now, I will take a small segment whose length is dx. At that point, let the magnetic field is B. Now, this segment dx is a current carrying conductor placed in a magnetic field and which will be located at a distance x. Now, this length dx, I can take anywhere on the conductor. So, I can take here, I can take here, I can take here, I can take here, then x will be a variable. So, at a distance x on the conductor, consider a small element dx having current I. Now, this element dx is in this magnetic field. So, let me first find the magnetic field. Okay. So, the magnetic field at a distance x due to this conductor is mu naught I by 2 pi r. R means distance. Therefore, at this point, the magnetic field due to this wire at a distance x is this. In that magnetic field, in this magnetic field, this small segment dx is placed. And in that dx current is flowing. Therefore, the force on element dx is df BIL sin 90 So, B, I in the conductor, L means dx sin 90. Why? See, magnetic field is inward. Anyhow, this current carrying conductor produces a magnetic field inward. So, magnetic field is inward. Dx is this way. So, the length dx is this way, magnetic field is inward. So, what is an angle? 90. BIL sin 90. So let me substitute the B value here. So the force dF is equal to B means I means some current in this conductor. What is the current in that conductor? I2. So force acting a current carrying conductor. dx is a current carrying conductor. Length current and current in that conductor is I2 and magnetic field at that place is B. Now B. Mu naught I1 by 2 pi x into I2 into dx into sin 90 is the force. So x is the only variable, I1, I2 are constants. So the force dF is equal to, so I want the total force now. Total force on the conductor is integral of dF. That means I will take here dx, 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 dx. Forces dF will act. Total force means the summing up of all these df's. That is called integral df. This is integral mu naught. So anyhow mu naught I1, I2 are constants. I will take out of that. I1 and I2 divided by 2 pi is constant. Integral 1 by x dx. What is the x varies? X varies from this point to this point. Because you will be taking dx, 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 dx on the conductor only, no? So, x starts at A, ends at A plus B. So, x is equal to A to x is equal to A plus B. So, now you got the answer. So, therefore, the force acting on this conductor is mu naught I1, I2 by 2 pi. I will take 1 by x is log x, integration taking the limits from A to A plus B. So now what will you get here? Upper limit minus lower limit, no? Log A plus B minus log A. First upper limit you have to write, minus then lower limit. So log A plus B minus log A. You know log A minus log B is log A by B. That means finally I'll get log A plus B by A. So therefore finally the force is mu naught I1 I2 by 2 pi by 2 pi. This is log A plus B divided by A base E. This is also 1 plus B by A also we can write. So this is a force acting on this conductor. According to Fleming's left hand rule, this force will be acting in upward direction, and this is how we can calculate the force.